California edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. David Vela is joining us. He is the president of the Montebello Unified School Board, the third largest school district in the county of Los Angeles. And I must speak with you about a very powerful decision that came out of the LA Superior Court. It's known as the Vergara decision, and it sent shockwaves through the entire educational environment, essentially ruling that the teacher tenure system, the teacher dismissal system was unconstitutional. That's pretty serious. You're shaking your head. I've rendered you almost speechless. How has that impacted families, students in Montebello Unified?
Look, in Montebello, for years we've really tried to nurture talent, and so one of the things we did, and I was a big part of that when a lot of my teachers began to become eligible for retirement. When I came on the board in 2007, we went ahead and created an incentive for retirement. For some of these teachers that had been there for a while for two reasons. One, we wanted to honor them, for the great job that they did, but we also saw that we were having a lot of the teachers that were not fitting in a lot with the kind of new mold of what a teacher in an urban area. It used to, Montebello Unified used to be, 50% Anglo as back in the 70s and 80s, and then it became more and more Latino. And so a lot of the newer teachers were not able to come into the district. So I think...
and let's talk about that, if I may, because it does bring up a key point of the decision. That's dealing with the question of LIFO, last in, first out. Because what you're describing is, under the current system, seniority trumps completely. Performance has no say when you're dealing with a layoff situation. And so what was happening, in this instance it was LA Unified, these allegedly hungry young teachers were being fired, and these allegedly tired, heading to retirement teachers were being kept on.
Right.
And that was seen as unconstitutional.
Well, it really, LA Unified has a different story, but what we can all learn from this, and that's why I said Montebello did it very differently, was that we had to think outside the box, and we actually worked with our union and with our teachers and said, hey guys, look, what if we were to create an incentive for, on merit, and that teachers that are doing a good job, whether it be, $10,000 bonus or whatever that was, it wasn't anything big. And as a matter of fact, in the long run, it was a cost savings measure, because as you can imagine, when we made room for younger teachers and newer teachers, their salaries are lower. Montebello pays the highest salary of any starting teacher in the state of California.
I didn't know that.
Yes, we do. And so we did that. What happened in LA Unified is really just years and years of really not looking at that policy, really not even, trying to come up with a solution. And so what happens in these cases with this court decision is that now people are going to be forced to do some policy around it, which is good for everyone, I think.
One of the other issues that was addressed in Vergara was the question of dismissals. How teachers are dismissed. And the court talked about how a dismissal can take years, costing districts over $100,000, if not more. And the poster child for that became the Montebello case, where there was a teacher, forgive me, that was serving semen on a spoon to his students. And that teacher, while receiving a 25-year prison sentence, also got a $40,000 payout from the school district because he appealed his dismissal after he was serving his fluids to students. The optics of that, sir, are mind-blowing. And while Miramonte was not part of Vergara, it begs the question.
No, it certainly does. All of this can be solved with true discussion. And, we're not just talking about, leadership. We're talking about real, true membership at the teacher level, with the students, with the parents. And LA Unified has, of course, about the holding room as well, where teachers are sent every day and they don't work, and they actually spent years there until their case is heard in a hearing, and then they're given their future.
Now, you know, though, that recently, and it was right after Vergara came down, shockingly enough, there was a bit of a legislative fix on the question of dismissals. Right. And essentially, the bill that was signed speeds up the dismissal and appeals process for certain offenses, but more along the kind of the criminal or bordering on criminal offense. So the Miramonte case would fall under this new situation. But the legislative fix says nothing about ineffective teachers.
And that's a discussion, again, look, we can't just pretend that there hasn't been years and years of this question going around. You know, when you look at true leadership, whether it's a school board member, a governor, you know, I don't shy away from talking to my teachers on very controversial issues like this. We just currently implemented at Montebello Unified an actual accountability measure for teachers. We're doing some administrative evaluations as well on administrators. We talked to all of our unions, we talked to all of our groups, and we said, hey, we've all got to have them. Sure, there might not be, you know, let's say, as punitive as some people might want, but we're actually looking at the way teachers are performing, what they're learning, what their PLCs are about, and we're having files created for our teachers in a positive light. And we actually went to them about how they would like to be evaluated. But in a place, and again, when you have LAUSD, who's a bigger animal, probably, you know, way bigger than anything in our state, then it's going to be a tougher discussion. And I think you do need someone to kind of get everyone together and really talk about it.
And it does then, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it, is this a distraction though? I mean, it's very easy. It's very kind of cliche to bash teachers and teachers unions today.
Sure.
And so, you know, is the cause of underperformance poor teachers, or is the cause poverty or de facto segregation? What's your sense there?
Look, I mean, teachers have had a history of always being undervalued. They're on shoestring budgets. Some of them use their own money to buy supplies for our students, especially in urban areas where there is no one but the teacher to assist. Have we thought about maybe going to the teachers and talking about, you know, ways that we can actually measure? You know, we've tried in the past. Unfortunately, politics get in the way every time. But if the governor, the Senate pro tem, and the leader of the assembly can get together and discuss a $109 billion budget for the state of California, I'm sure we can get together with our folks and talk about ways that we can continue to work together.
I wonder, though, I mean, you look at the influence of the teachers union, and I'm not making a statement about the propriety of it, but, you know, the teachers union gave Governor Brown almost $2.5 million in 2010, over $3.5 million on Prop 13 in 2012. This was unions, plural. They wield a lot of influence.
Well,
and so
the efforts of the anti-union efforts at USAW in Wisconsin and other areas in the country didn't help this. I mean, as you saw, there was an attack on unions and on teachers here in California. They barely got out of an ugly battle fight. Are
the unions willing to be introspective about this? Because look, we have an initiative process that is quite progressive, and clearly the proponents of Vergara could say, you know what, we're going to try a different path. Let's put an initiative on the ballot that bans teacher tenure altogether. Could pass. You know, you never know. I mean, Governor Schwarzenegger tried something kind of similar in 2005. It went down, but he wasn't popular then.
I really think that when you talk to the teachers unions throughout the state of California, they're going to be willing to come to the table, not just because of Vergara, but because I think like anyone else who's protected their institution for hundreds of years, if you just come in and try to, you know, create your own ways on what to do, it's never going to work out. You look at business and labor, how they're going, you know, Walmart with their constant frustration and the labor unions. I mean, this is just something that's always going to happen unless you have a true conversation.
His name is David Vela. He is the president of the Montebello Unified School District. My name is Brad Pomerance. It's California Edition.